Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video. Today I'm really excited to be hopefully starting a new series, but at the least trying out a new video for you, and that is Budget My Paycheck with Me. So I'm 25, I'm married, and my husband and I get a paycheck every week. I get two a month and he gets two a month. I feel like my budgeting method is pretty simple, and we just take things week by week, planning ahead for what kinds of expenses we'll have that week, and also saving for sinking funds and emergency fund. So I'm excited to kind of show you my process. So, starting out, today is August 6th, so it's actually our second paycheck of the month. And this is going to last us until, well, through the 13th, and then we'll get our next paycheck on the 14th. So this week is actually a pretty unique week, which is funny that I'm starting this paycheck series on such an off week. But we're actually going on a road trip. And for road trips, I like to have a travel fund prepared ahead of time. And I put $500 in there. Hopefully, we won't spend it all. I know this is technically just gas and eating out and shopping money, but I like to have it set aside so it doesn't feel so painful to be spending so much in a short period of time. So, anyways, we are going to a wedding. We don't have a lot of gift money saved up, so we're just going to give them some cash that I have sitting from a Facebook Marketplace sale. But I do want to put a little bit of money in our gift fund so that we can go buy a card. We also are moving at the end of the month, which is super exciting. But with this paycheck, I want to set aside the $200 for the pet deposit we need to put down for our dog. And if you hear dog noises in the background, now you know. We have a dog. Her name is Ellie. I love her so much, but she does cost us a little extra money, especially when it comes to pet rent and pet deposit and such. All right. And I think that is everything for this week. Because we're going on a road trip, things are going to look a little different with gas and groceries and eating out money. Mostly that's going to come out of our travel fund. So I'm not going to set aside too much for that or anything. But let's get to it. So our paycheck for this week came out to $1,291.32. I like to break up my budget into bills and needs, wants, sinking funds, and savings. And at some point, I feel like it would be good to look back at kind of the percentages that are going to needs, wants, and savings. You know, that there's like the 50, 30, 20 rule. But really, right now, I feel like we're just in survival mode until we can get our emergency fund up. So I'm not super concerned about that. But for our bills, we have rent plus utilities, our phone bill, internet, and car insurance. And we're also saving up for a second car because right now we just share one. For needs, these are also kind of like bills, but they're variable. We have gas, groceries, medical, which can go to like doctor's appointments, but also things like therapy or counseling. And then Ellie, our pet fund. For wants, we have subscriptions. These are like streaming services mostly or software for a computer. And then I also have a subscription to the sauna, which is a little bit expensive, but they kind of got me trapped because if you cancel your subscription, you lose all your credits. And so I keep trying to like use up all my credits before I cancel, but I'm like rolling over credits and I haven't gotten to use them all up yet. So we'll see how long I stay trapped at the sauna, but I secretly really like it. So I'm not too concerned with that. Anyways, rest of our wants are eating out, and then shopping is kind of like our miscellaneous clothes or home goods or whatever. And then for sinking funds, right now we only have a few, but I'd like to add more as we have more flexible money. Starting out, we have the travel fund, which I've been talking about. We're using for our road trip. Whoop, whoop. We also kind of use our car fund, which I mentioned earlier, as a catch all for car maintenance, car replacement. You know, the works. But besides that, we have gifts, which is pretty self-explanatory. Running shoes, we get new shoes about every 6 months, and they can be $100 or more, which is kind of crazy. And then haircuts, also self-explanatory. And all that we have left is retirement, which I just put a little bit into my Roth IRA, and my husband has a 401k that already gets like drawn out of his paycheck. And emergency fund, we are aiming for $10,000, and we just are chipping away paycheck by paycheck. So you'll see where we're at as I work through this week's budget. Now that we have all of our categories written out, it's on for the fun part, onto the fun part, and that is allocating all of our cash into our different categories. Okay, so rent and utilities is getting $716.50. That's our biggest category of everything. And then phone and internet always get $17.50, and car is going to get $50 this month. Gas, groceries, medical are all getting zero because of our road trip, like I explained. But Ellie is getting $70 because we kind of went over our budget last week and we need to make up for some of that. But we got her wet food that she really likes, so I feel like it was worth it. And then for subscriptions, right now it's $31 per week. Eating out is getting 10 because we went over last week. So we're balancing that out. And then shopping is getting 100. And then moving on to sinking funds, travel is getting 61.52. And that brings us up to our $500 goal, which is awesome. And everything else is getting zero, except for our emergency fund, which is getting the rest of my paycheck, $217.30. Whew, that was fast. Let's move on to writing out our totals for each category. Because we're moving at the end of the month, our rent is actually due before our move-in day. So we're saving up a little bit ahead of time. We've got 2 more paychecks to bring it up to $1,800, I believe. But right now it's at $848.64. And that includes the pet deposit too. And then our phone is at $17.50, internet is $17.50, and our car fund is at $382. Gas and groceries just have a tiny bit of leftover money from last week, and I didn't feel like moving it around. So gas still has $5.64, and groceries have $7.17. For medical, we have $102 saved up. And for Ellie, we have $18.55. So as you can see, a lot of that $70 was already spent, and we had to make up for it. Okay, and then subscriptions, we've got $41. Eating out, again, has just that weird leftover, $1.64. And shopping has $63.30. So you can see we went a little over on that as well. Our travel fund is fully funded, $500, and then our gift fund has $18.05, which is perfect for a card or two. Our running shoes fund, I need to look that up. Haircuts has 55, retirement has 75, and then our emergency fund has 2,250, which I'm happy about, but we've got a long ways to go. And then our running shoe fund, I just forgot to write it down. It is 3406. All right, guys, thank you for joining me for my first budget with me. And I will hopefully see you next week, if not the week after. Okay, see ya.